Hey, do you think AI is going to take over the world? Or are you a young and upcoming entrepreneur that doesn't know how to start your business? Or do you know what a digital ecosystem is? Or is that just a made-up word? My name is Reynold, and today we're talking about how to utilize the tools we have to our disposal today. We're talking AI tech, website, SEO, and establishing an online presence. And joining me today is Gresse. He's been in the realms, he's a fanatic, and he finds it a hobby to utilize these sort of platforms. And he'll be giving us some insights today. So, if you want to effectively, digitally market your business, stay tuned in the conversation as we'll be giving some insights and tips. I think just to kick things off, website and SEO. It is a super important element, and I think just before we dive in completely, we're talking today the topic of leveraging what we have to our disposal in the digital realm today, especially for startup entrepreneurs stepping into the scene. And I think a good first point to touch on is website SEO work. So your feel on that, purely conversational, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah. So like you said, Reynold, there are a lot of things at our disposal that you can actually start doing today. And the main focus, or the first thing you actually have to look at, is your own website. Because if you're not building a place for your customers to find you, then it's going to be hard for them to find you. Like, it's all right if you have just like a Facebook page or something, but your website is your home. Your website is what's going to drive sales. Your website's going to be the thing that helps your customers. So in terms of SEO, SEO is search engine optimization. And what we do with this is it actually helps your page rank better on the Google search results. So you know at the bottom of the Google, you've got all the O's. You don't want to be on O number 6, number 7, number 8, not even O number 2. You want to be on O number 1. And that kind of helps your customers find you easier and instead of your competitors. So the way you do this is by incorporating keywords and metadata onto your website and into the content that you put onto your website.
Makes sense.
So keywords would be, for example, let's say you have a coffee shop. Then you'll be like vintage coffee shop or best vintage coffee shop. Plug these kind of words into the back end of your website. So the back end is more, you'll need someone that actually knows how the website works. So that's a little bit of a further step. But get someone that can help you, and you put relevant keywords into the back end of your website.
100%.
And then also into the content that you're putting into your website. So this can be blogs. So you can write content that's useful to your customer, that answers questions that your customer might have, or even an FAQ, frequently asked questions. You know, plug it in there, and this helps your page rank better on Google.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I like the approach because I think a lot of times, especially if we're looking at the Namibian market, people are quite cautious on spending big bucks when they move into the realms of like, we got to get a website, you know? But I think if you already have a website, you have a head start. And it's like you said, implementing the right keywords. I think often enough people neglect that if you're looking for a business, nowadays, the first way you vet it is by checking if they have a website. It's actually quite crazy. And I mean, if you utilize the tool of having that website, if you utilize it well, there's a lot of systems you can run on it that's just going to solve quite a few problems for you. But leaning on the fact that websites tend to be, let's say, a bit expensive. So the second option people often mention is going for something basic like a Google My Business page. That is also an option. But websites, SEO, love it. Diving into Google My Business. Do you think it's a fair substitute if you can't afford a website? Or do you think it's more of an add-on? What's your feel there?
So for the listeners out there, I feel that Google My Business is actually the first step.
The first step.
Go onto Google, search for your business. If it's not already there, you can create it. But if it's there, what you can do is you can go and claim it. And once you claim this business, you can go and you can put in your hours that you're open. You can add posts or like promotions and stuff. And you can encourage your current clientele to actually go and review you there. And with these reviews, it even also helps your SEO and helps you rank better. And by claiming this page, you own this property now, and it's your first touch point, because your phone number is going to be there, your location, all of this, and you can ensure that's all correct. You can add an image, create a presence online. It's really, really the first step.
The first big step, 100%. I like that. talking about Google My Business, I think that kind of also plays into the overall, we call that the convenience for customers. We know that customers, they don't want to struggle to find the cell phone number just to get in touch with the company. So I agree with you, first great step. I think when we're talking websites, we're talking SEO, we're talking Google My Business, an important thing to also mention is like the digital ecosystem. Part of that digital ecosystem, of course, involves social media platforms as well, but quite an important touch point is online presence. So I don't know, in your experience, how do you find online presence to kind of be relevant? Do you find it to be useful?
Yeah.
In the industries, yeah?
Yeah, so for online presence, it's all about creating that community. And with a community, you have loyal customers and loyal followers.
Okay.
And the kind of content that you have to put out is something that attracts them and keeps them entertained. You don't have to go and post every single day, but if you can, with a start, make one post every week, and make that impactful. And a great way to do this is through video content.
Yeah.
Video content is engaging, it's interesting, and we're not talking about like a 20-minute long video.
Yeah.
You can do a 1-minute long video.
Exactly.
And add some value to the customer's life or entertain them. These are like the two big ones to look at.
Exactly.
So if you're not adding value and you're not entertaining them, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you're just pushing products the whole time, that's also not going to work. No one wants to just see ads every day.
It's true. I mean, the market becomes like, if you look at the amount of time spent on social media platforms, I wouldn't say your customer base becomes sort of lazy, but it's easier to consume video content than it is to read a still post.
Yeah.
Often enough, we find with clients that they have this PDF doc of like super important information. And the first thing we sort of offer to them is like, listen, why not shorten that into a 30-second video? It's going to be way more impactful. And you also have your target market that back in the day, they used to be too young.
Yeah.
However, all those young ones on Instagram, TikTok, they're now moving into the space where they're earning big bucks or starting to earn money. So they actually slowly but surely progressing into becoming your target market.
Yeah, more of a lifetime customer.
Exactly. Yeah. And how do you communicate with them? Short videos.
Yeah. And like you said, with that PDF document, you can take that and not just make a 30-second video. You can make 10 30-second videos. Exactly. And use that to drive growth on your pages.
Yeah.
And then a nice thing that we haven't mentioned is that on your social media platforms and on this video content, try and link it back to your website.
Yeah.
Because then not only are you creating a following on social media, but you're driving business back to your main business.
I think it plays into that like digital ecosystem. Make sure that the My Business, the website, the social media pages are kind of all like interlinked, complementing one another. If we're talking keywords, using social media to drive traffic to the website and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think on the last note on like online presence that is super important for all my Namibian customers is that I think familiarity in Namibia is still a big thing. So it's often, if you're a business and you're putting out video content, speak to your customer. I think that makes a big difference. I wouldn't say the Namibian market is still old school, but it's nice to know that you're talking to someone that's per se handling my finances, or if the person is going to be doing my insurance, then you at least know like, hey, this is the face, I represent the company, this is the information. Yeah. I think for the older generation, it feels as though like, great, I'm talking to someone, this is someone I can trust, the brand I can trust, and I think it just pulls through a little bit better.
Yeah. On that point that you said about the Namibian market specifically, something that we could have mentioned earlier, but in Namibia, a large majority of our customers and our viewers and everyone, they are engaging via their mobiles. And in terms of setting up your website, if you can do one thing, do a mobile first optimization.
So people neglect that.
Yeah, so when you go on the website, it's not all distorted and everything. It's easy to flow, and then you can look at browser view second. And even in terms of like just putting the content out there, make your pages load fast, because sometimes you've got clients who don't have like great internet connection. So it's a great benefit if they can actually navigate and work with your content.
Makes sense. Yeah, good point. That's something I think most clients neglect. I think jumping into a next topic of conversation that kind of plays into that whole digital ecosystem is AI tech. So yeah, we know there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons, but I think we would most likely like to focus on the pros of AI tools and leveraging it. Feedback on that, your feel on it, yeah.
So a lot of people have this perception that AI is going to take over and do this, but AI is a tool, and it's all about how you use this tool.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of stuff out there that you can start using today for free.
Yeah.
For example, the one is ChatGPT. Everyone knows about ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Like, don't be afraid, create an account, start using it, start learning how it works.
Yeah.
But the important thing is that you are still in control. You need to guide it. You need to give it instructions. So a lot of people say you have to give it a role. You have to, give it a purpose. You have to explain what the content is, and you have to just round it off very nicely.
I see.
But it's a nice tool to help you create stuff faster. And in terms of content, like you want to write a blog post, tell it this is the theme, this is the target market, give it as much information as you can.
As you possibly can.
And when it's done and it gives you this content, you have to go back and you have to go and review everything that it said.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you want to put something into it that it kind of pushes out and you just blindly send.
No.
I think that's also not an effective way to use it.
Yeah,
so,
and a bit of a reputational risk.
Yeah, very true.
If it says something that's wrong, you could end up in a little bit of trouble depending on what kind of organization you work.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is a tool. It's a tool that helps you work faster, helps you be more consistent. You can do almost anything.
100%.
For example, your video content. Let's say you've only got 3 ideas for your video content, but you want to engage it and have it make a whole month's worth of content. Give it the first couple of ideas, tell them this is the kind of business you do, these are the kind of customers you're looking at.
Yeah.
Give me a content plan for 3 months.
Exactly.
It'll pump it out for you.
It immediately makes me think of those memes like, end of year function and everyone getting a raise and then you got the ChatGPT robot coming in. Like, yeah. That's pretty hilarious. No, it's I think that's definitely a tool that can be utilized more for sure. Anything else in the AI realms?
Yes. So we spoke about SEO.
Yeah.
So there are a few tools that can help you actually improve your SEO, and that's in specifically focusing on keywords now.
Okay.
So you've got the Google Keyword Assistant, and then ChatGPT itself.
Of course. Okay.
You can explain your issue and say, I need keywords, please help me with my keywords.
Yeah.
It's your little assistant, it's gonna give you all the keywords you need. And then what you can also do is like try and cater it more for Namibia now, to the Namibian market. So make it something local, like you're going to use words like lekker or,
of course,
nice coffee shop in Windhoek, like we said.
Yeah.
Make it local. So like a good thing that we usually look at is localization. So a global approach, but with a local flair.
I like that term.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, I think that especially in Namibia, that makes sense. It also kind of dives in a little bit to some AI tech that we know also runs SEO for clients. Now, an important thing to mention, because I think as soon as you start throwing terms around like SEO, Google Analytics, a lot of clients are okay, they're happy with it. And some are like, what are you talking about? Because we know, for instance, there are platforms out there like Adbot, for instance. Adbot is a system that I worked with for quite a while, and that is quite an effective system. It's a very basic approach when you're talking about like sort of Google Analytics and SEO work. However, it's a very effective platform. It kind of gives you your statistics, and it doesn't need a professional in the background running it. It kind of runs itself, which is quite useful. So I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah, a bit of automation when it comes to,
Exactly.
And I think that's specifically for creating Google search ads.
Yeah.
Which is also a great way of like bringing customers back to your website, back to your store.
100%. I think this kind of dives into like a topic I'd like to close off on is analytics. A lot of the times it's super important to actually be able to use the data you receive and also know what you're looking at. And a big term that we use quite often in the digital realm is that we try to avoid vanity metrics especially, but I think we can touch on that a bit later or maybe in the next episode or so. But yeah, if we're talking analytics.
Yeah. So analytics are important because once you've got the website in place, you're busy with the SEO, you're running ads online, you've got social media, you're doing posts, you're doing things and promotions. Analytics is the kind of a way to check yourself, see what's happening.
Yeah.
So Google Analytics, it's actually a lovely platform. It's free to use.
Okay.
You can even do a Google Analytics course that's offered for free by Google online. Like each one will maybe take you like half an hour. Upskill yourself, do that. It's going to really enable you to have a deeper insight into what's going on in your digital realm.
Yeah.
So with Google Analytics, you can kind of, like, for example, for your website.
Yeah.
You can see how many people are going to each page of your website. You can see if there's an issue, like they're coming to this page and they're bouncing. So a bounce is when they immediately come to the page and then leave the page.
Leave the page again.
You can kind of identify where on this page there's an issue on this page.
I see.
And kind of focus like how you want to rectify these issues and kind of other strategies you can implement. Another nice thing is like a heat map to see where your customers are more interacting, like what's engaging them the most, or where you'd like to push them. Or another nice thing is like, let's say you're running a Google ad or you've got an Adbot ad running. You can tag that in Google Ads so you can see what's your return on investment.
I see.
You're spending this much money on your ads, but how many people are actually coming back and converting? And you can link it straight, if you've got like online sales, you can link it straight to a conversion and then it'll calculate your return on investment, which is a great thing to check.
That is actually great. Like, and I know it's, I think why it's exceptionally useful as well is that a lot of the times people put out websites that pay big bucks for it and the website's there, but it's not user friendly. And what you want to also kind of aid your organic search is you want people to spend time on your website naturally without having to pay for people to visit your website. I think that dives into a bit more intricate when we talk about like SEO and that sort of work. But when you have sort of the analytics where it kind of shows you whether people bounce or spend some time on your page, it gives you a good indication on whether the page is well set up, whether it's user friendly, whether the information, of course, is of value, and you don't have people getting lost on websites. I think that often happens.
But like you said, there's value in data. So what Google Analytics also gives you is insight into who is your customer. It gives you some demographic information, and it gives you like an idea of like what kind of person they are, and you can kind of build customer profiles from this. And this one, if you get a bit more intricate into your SEO, you can use this information, plug it straight back into your website's SEO, and improve it, and improve even your Google ads, everything.
Very cool. No, I think for today, that's kind of most of the topics I wanted to run through with you. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for coming through. I think we kept it short and sweet. We sort of had a broad overview of all of these topics. I think within the next few episodes, we could perhaps touch base again and maybe take a topic and dive in a bit deeper.
Yeah, I'd love to.
But yeah, thank you for joining, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure, man.
Thank you to our viewers.
Yeah,
lovely to see you guys sometime.
Sweet.
All right.
Nice. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I hope that the conversation was of benefit and hopefully we could give some insights. It was a bit of a broad overview, but drop some comments down below if you guys want to know a bit more about specific topics. You're also welcome to follow our Nuka page and check out some of our other episodes. Stay tuned and I hope to see you again.